Coach Peggy Show, all things wellness with Coach Peggy Willms. How many people in your life have told you you're half of this or half of that? Are you settling? No more. This show is about all things, and you deserve it. It's about your money, your lifestyle, your beliefs, and even romance. We extinguish excuses and raise the bar to all things possible. It's time to use your ATM, your all things mindset. Welcome to the Coach Peggy Show. Bold, badass, and never half in.
Hey, you guys, welcome to the Coach Peggy Show. And obviously I'm your host because I can't hire anybody else because I'm too cheap. Just made that up. Hey, we got a great guest today. We talk to real people with real problems, but we find real solutions, real outcomes, and we tell real stories. So lots of reels. And I want to just do a couple of housekeeping things real first before I introduce you to this gem. If you want to be on the Coach Peggy Show, just email me. It's as simple as that, peggy@allthingswellness.com. And I want you to hang out for the mid-show mark because we're going to do a little bit of lightning round, and then hang out at the end for a giveaway and some ways that you can be publish your story. How fun. All right, let's start the show. We always start it with a quote, but let's talk about today's title first. Finding peace on earth when we live in a world like a global ugly state, which is super. Everybody relates to this show. So hang tight. Here's the quote for the day. Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. Albert Einstein. Hi, Kornelia.
Hello. How wonderful to be on your show. And thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, we've known each other for a hot minute. How come we haven't done this before?
Because we're busy people. We have a lot going on. And it's like we do a lot of different things. We juggle a lot of different balls. And so this was just the perfect time now.
Yeah, spinning lots of plates. You do the same thing I do. One time I was told, Peggy, and it was a compliment, but I didn't take it that way initially. You spin so many different plates, it can be sometimes confusing as to what you really do.
Yeah.
No, and that's kind of it, because our passion's so high to make a difference that I do think sometimes people like us ping a little bit, with the things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we just do a lot. So to come together here today, it's a special gift for both of us, because here we are after knowing each other for, like you said, a hot minute. It's probably been about 3 or 4 years, maybe.
I think I've been with Transformation. You were there before me. So I think my show started like the end of 2017, something like that.
Oh, okay.
So
you took off for a while. You took off for a minute, right?
To the Wild West. Yes, my first show was Coach Couch and Coffee. And then I took a break and brought back this. And then I took a break because of all the writing books and helping 300-ish authors in the last 2 years.
There you go again, doing all these different things. And that's great that you're helping authors get their message out there, helping people write their books. Fabulous.
We might want to describe, or just let everybody know who you are. I stopped asking my guests, tell us a little bit about yourself, because sometimes they understate or they forget we have a lifetime resume and a professional resume. And you just kind of keep it simple. You just literally, okay, let me, maybe I'm going to end up having you say who you are. But really, you have evolved over the years in doing energy work, and you are a podcaster. You're an author of a recent book, Peace and Flipside. Peace, the flip side of its anger, kind of flipping that, right? So how I use my emotion to heal my life and my body, how you can too. Her life work has been undoing all the old conditioning and old beliefs and healing her emotional core wounding. As a way, shower and ascension guide, her role to demonstrate how it's done and to share experiences along the way. How the heck did I do?
Yeah, you did pretty good.
How'd you get here?
Yeah, I signed up for it. I came here to be the greatest version of myself and to help others become the greatest version of themselves. We came here to experience peace on earth and and how to make that happen. But first we have to look at the war that's going on inside of oneself, the decay and the illness and the sickness that we still have to heal from, so that we can become and be the peace we want to see in the world. Because you can see many people out there that say, yeah, I want peace, but they're not acting like they want peace. They've got passive aggressive behavior going on. They're not really peaceful towards themselves, not really loving, not really standing in their values and really being an advocate for peace. I don't like to see when people say they want peace, but then they act out in anger. And because we can't have angry peace activists. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. That is so inauthentic. That's so much bullshit.
It is so much. I want to back up to something that I've discovered really recently, and you bring up the word action. And I do not know what's going on, but I know what's going on. But, when COVID kind of came along, people were saying, if you're going to work from home, where's the accountability? You're doing laundry. But we have shifted to a few months where people took action. And then I'm over here going, I'm doing a nonprofit project. I'm recruiting these stories. And where's the action, girlfriend? What's going on? Are we tired? What are we doing?
Yeah, again, you're doing a lot of different things. You've got a lot of balls that you're juggling and putting a lot of support and tools out there to help people. And there's many of us that are doing that. The thing about it is, it depends on what you're talking about, the action that who is the person that is feeling powerless in their life, and who is the person that is feeling in fear, and who is the person that is feeling like there's no hope for us, right? Who is that person? And that's the person that we want to empower and talk to and remind you that you came here for this, and you came here to also experience peace on earth, to really walk and create your universe according to your values and what's important to you, and to live and take action now, because it's all happening now, not next week, not next year. It's happening now. So what action can we take today that is going to honor and support my values, my principles, what I stand for, and what can you do in your life that represents the same thing?
You're jumping to right where I wanted to go. The external, it's like sometimes I will say, do you know you're using your outside voice? Because many things aren't internalized or thought about before they go out into the world. And there's a lot of, there are results and outcomes on what we say and do. But some of the red flags, if we chilled, some of the red flags for me, when I see even myself, they're always negative in the sense of judgment, anxiety, fear. And that always tells me to sit in myself and kind of regroup and re-energize. But lack of actions. And are you seeing an increase in the negative emotions and increase in external anger? And what are you seeing in your industry with your clients?
Yeah, what I'm seeing right now is there's definitely levels of anxiety that's happening. There's definitely lots of fear that's being projected out onto others, relationships, employers or whatever. It's the fear is being projected out. The anxiety is there. And so people are really scared about, claiming their power back. Really claiming their power. So when you were talking earlier about how I used my emotions to heal my body and my life, and that is because I learned how to use my emotions to heal my body and my life. And when people are in anxiety, when people are in fear, anxiety is, the anxiousness that one feels inside, thinking a thought, feeling like it's hopeless. I'm not gonna make it, whatever they're anxious about, not knowing, because everything is uncertain these days. The world is, nothing is certain, so there's a lot of confusion going on. But if the person is in anxiety, then the first thing to do is look at what the thought is that is thinking those thoughts, and the emotion that's going behind it, right? Because we can very easily fall down the rabbit hole. I was just working through this with someone in the last few days about this anxious and anxiety feeling. So I helped her identify where her thoughts are, what the thoughts are, and to override those thoughts, with positive thoughts that right now everything is fine, and right now you are fine. So not to stay in a state of anxiousness and fear. So I see a lot of that happening right now. Fear, projecting your own energy out, negativity, whatever it is, and projecting that out. And this is also not peaceful. Projecting your own, negativity or whatever out onto other people. So we have to take radical responsibility right now to create the garden that God intended for us in the beginning. When, this is why we're here, to take the planet back, to take our power back, to take our kingdom back, to bring peace on earth, because the wars that are going on the outside have been wars that have been going on the inside for a long time. So peace is an inside job. And we have to take that radical responsibility right now and make that inner temple really, really good and peaceful and calm and loving, because then we're in our true state. That's where the magic happens. That's where the miracles take place. And that's what we need to take. That's where we need to take our ownership. So I'm here for peace on earth. That's what I'm here for. I stand for that. I live in that. And when you know how energy works and you know how emotions work, and if you don't, then find a coach, find a mentor, find somebody so that you can learn how to use your own energy for creating your life, not sabotaging your life.
Well, and a coach needs a coach and a doctor needs a doctor. And, even though we are helping, the more I help people, often I'll go, "Whoo, what's going on in here?" Because I tend to get busy out here, right? A couple of things you said. Peace is an inside job.
Yeah.
Brilliant. The other thing we know, studies show, and you and I say this all the time, thoughts and feelings become behavior. Thoughts become things. And there is a space in there to rewire whatever we brought forward, that programming, that negative or positive programming. And when you try to, I see this as well, is that when we most need a medication or we most need to see a physician, we're in so much of a muck that taking that step to do so, we know consciously, cognitively, whatever we need to do it. But there are often red flags. And I found that in my tribe, because it took me a long time to do this, but let that 4 or 5 people inside see my red flags, because often I sometimes can't see it. What would you say are some of the red flags? Is it not sleeping, not eating? Like, what would be some of the things that someone could either recognize in themselves or someone else?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'll just talk about myself. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I have a really very disciplined routine. So I know that if I don't get my sleep, if I don't get my exercise, because I know when I'm thriving in my routine. When I'm thriving in my routine is when I connect with nature. When I'm thriving in my routine is when I am devoted to my spiritual practice and my spiritual hygiene. And so those are the things. I know what it is that I need to do for myself to thrive and create an environment inside my body, inside my home, on this planet, that I'm contributing to the peace I want to see in the world. So I take that responsibility really seriously, because I know that that is a ripple effect that's rippling out. So having a strong spiritual practice, whatever it is that you do, whether it's meditation or whatever, for me, it's journaling. And for me, it's checking in and going, hey, Kay, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
What do you need today? What do you need? What is it that you need right now? And then I'll answer back out loud and say, I really need more rest, or I need some more alone time, or I need some connection, or whatever it is. But, to really find out what it is that I'm needing so that I can provide that for myself, or I need somebody to talk to, or I need somebody to listen to me, or, whatever it is, or I need a break. Because a lot of times, because we're so busy with the things that we're doing, a lot of times I'm like, I need a break. I need a break. So, having a strong practice, journaling is one of my saving graces. I'm an avid journaler. I do everything, in creating and listening to myself, loving myself, honoring myself through my journals.
And I think
And
we
so that's
know what peace is. I mean, most of us know what feels good. When I would ever have my clients and they were going, well, I don't know my why and I don't know my purpose. And I would talk to them, whether it was corporate America or whatever. I could always tell when I could see the whites all around when they leaned into it, like, this is what I love. And their blood pressure's up and their body. I'm like, woo, right there. Let's hover right there. I think the majority of us know what feels peaceful. It's a practice, like you said, of almost having a meeting with yourself, allowing that space to sit down. Hopefully you're there. Roll call, but having that kind of check-in. I don't do a good job of that. I don't.
well.
Look what I took away. Meeting closed.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, it's obviously you're saying I don't do a good job in that, and maybe that's something that you want to do a better job in, right? Because
sure.
it becomes a choice. I mean, and that's the thing. And so, how do we right now want to contribute positive energy into the state of the world the way it is right now? Really ugly, really frightening, really scary. What kind of realities are we creating? That's one question that I have for us. The other thing, I wanted to make this connection because when you were saying about we all know what it is to what peace really is. So I want to ask you to really look at a time where you felt really at peace within yourself, where you know that this is how you love to feel when it's like this, and then to create more moments in your daily life that represent that. I had last year, I got really sick. This was a really interesting experience I had. I got really sick and I had an emotional backlog of energy in my body. I wasn't keeping up with my own process. So watch this. I wasn't keeping up with it. And so I got sick. And there was energy that accumulated around my heart and accumulated around my lungs that took me to the emergency room. And it was interesting because when they took my vitals, so here's a woman that's coming in complaining of chest pain.
Right.
And when they took my vitals, all my vitals were absolutely stable and normal. They could not understand, like how can, like everything, like your blood pressure is normal. Everything was normal. Everything was reading fine. And so they couldn't understand that. But what that test did for me, having my vitals checked in that way, when I was under extreme pressure in my chest, showed me how peaceful my energy was, even when I was experiencing chest pain. So this was an incredible experience for myself also to see, and then also to admit to myself that I didn't keep up with my own process for a while there. I just let things accumulate and didn't do my process. So that's why I'm coming back to it, Peggy, and saying that how important it is to do your daily practice and not let emotions accumulate in your body, because if you do, then you can get sick. You can get sick because it's all energy. Emotion is energy in motion. It's emotion is water. It's our body is made of water. So it's important to know that. And if you really want to be in a state of peace, then you have to be, practicing that on a daily basis.
Right. It's funny because I don't want to answer this personally, but I'm going to answer this personally for a second. So those people watching and viewing, I do want you to take the time. If you have to write down the question, just really think about what makes you happy. For me, I'm a geography girl, right? And I know since I was this big, when I have all the family photos of me on the beaches playing in the water, that made me happy. And I kept manifesting like, someday, girl, that's right where you're going to be. That's where you're going to be. And I ended up in landlocked places. I was in New Hampshire, and then I was in Germany, and then I was big old truck. Then I was 20-ish years in Colorado. Dusty, desert, mountains surrounding you. I always felt like I needed to escape. So then I moved to Florida, and I'm coming back to this. I got where I knew I needed to go. Walking in the water, laying in the ebbs of the ocean, being free, feeling like you're floating, like almost in the galaxy, like what's going on. And I know it makes me happy, and I still struggle with executing, right? So, you look at the palm trees and you go, oh, I want to walk around, or somebody else might go, I want to hike up the mountain. But for me, I put it off, and then I feel guilty or like I need permission. And I think a lot of people feel that way. They may know, but 3 days goes by, 3 weeks, the calendar.
That's so good what you just said. And I just want to say to everyone right now, everyone, write yourself a permission slip right now. This is the RX. RX, this is your prescription. Write that prescription that you have full permission to do the things that you love and to take action on those, because you talked about the word action earlier, taking action on the things that you love, because how lit up you are when you're walking on the beach and you're doing those things, what you love so much. We need that ripple. We need that ripple right now. So you denying yourself from not taking action for those things that you love is actually doing us a disservice.
The whole world a disservice. Myself,
exactly.
Who we're exposed to, who we're not exposed to, the traffic. I love what you just said. And I tell you what, this is why we always learn. I never thought about this. I'm a gazillion years old doing this. A prescription pad. So I ran office clinic for a really long, for a hot minute, and for a long time for Dr. Vetstein, who's one of my buddies and co-authors in some of my books. And it was very obviously Western medicine, endocrinology, diabetes, need your insulin, swallow your metformin, put on your, and there is a take this 3 times a day medicine. There is a physical therapy prescription we can get, and now it's become a little bit better in taking care of ourselves. You'll actually get some for physical therapy, not just physical therapy, but massage therapy, or, go for a walk. I love the thought of having almost a journal that's a rip-off pad of this week. I'm going to prescribe myself 3 times to walk 20 minutes.
That's a good one.
Or onto something.
Yeah, I think that's a really good one, because I think you're right. Here's the thing, because I'm the queen of emotional freedom. I can tell you right now, because you used this word earlier, and this is not something that I do in my universe anymore. And that is, we don't do guilt. And here's the reason why. We don't do guilt because guilt, first of all, is not even an emotion. Number one, guilt is not an emotion. Guilt is a feeling. And guilt is a feeling that has been programmed onto us by religious programming. So when we become conscious and we know that guilt isn't something that your physical body feels good in feeling, that this is not something that your physical body thrives in, certainly not guilt and peace, those two things don't even match. So releasing guilt entirely out of your universe is what I did when I started learning about the emotional intelligence of, feelings and emotions and what it all is. So energy. So guilt is something that I released and let go, because when I work with my clients, what I say to them, when they say to me, I feel guilty, then I really want them to do that thing that they feel guilty about doing.
I think you're more brilliant than I thought you were a half hour ago. Look at you. But
Oh.
when you're passionate about it, you know how when you're chatting with someone for 30 minutes and then you go to coffee, it's 3 hours later. You know how you feel that. We need those type of people in our top 5, even one. I had lunch with my son yesterday, my oldest son, and we were talking about how important it is to have that mentor, even if it's someone you can't sit down with, somebody that and we don't always know their personal lives, but somebody who exudes doing the right thing, heartfelt, somebody you want to be potentially. I don't care if it's Oprah, who it is. You got to have somebody in your top 5. Well, I'm going to ping for a second. Who's in your top 5?
Oh, I mean, who's in my top 5? Is that like somebody famous or
Yes, no, it can be somebody that you just look up to. I mean, it changes, right? I mean, who I looked up to and kind of wanted to emulate in certain ways 10 years
Oh,
ago.
yeah. Yeah, there's a woman right now that I have deep respect for, that I look to. I really like her. Her name is Marina. She's in my top 5.
Oh, you guys, we're going to have to go to commercial break, but do not go away. When we come back, we're going to do a little bit of a lightning round, super fun. And we're going to go more into this and give you some real action steps and talk more, because I really want to hear about how Kornelia got to be such an expert, even though she may say she's not. So come back. You're listening to the Coach Peggy Show. Hey, you guys, you better have come back. Now, whether you were driving, whether you were listening to this as a podcast, or if you could only get halfway through, you got to listen to this. Why? Because I'm having so much fun. All right, we're going to do a lightning round. I love to do lightning rounds. It is absolutely unrehearsed. And I like to throw my guests off because they think they know what they're showing up with sometimes. So here we go, Kornelia. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
What object in your life brings you the most peace?
What object in my life brings me the most peace? I would have to say it's my journal.
You mentioned that. So you mentioned that. That would be, so do you have years and years worth of them?
I don't keep my journals. I throw them out. So like all my journals, from like years ago, they're all
with the
gone.
little key, the little velvet ones with the throwaway key, and you had Scott Baio on your ceiling in your bedroom. I digress.
I had Leif Garrett.
I do too. And Sean Cassidy. Sierra doesn't even know who that is. You guys.
I know.
Sierra's both of our producers, and she is, wow, that's really cool. And I love that you burn them, because I always say that you should write like no one's going to read it, but also write like everyone will. Because in the sense of that authenticity, when you're telling some of your personal and true stories that the world can learn from, or cathartically you want to get out there. But you bring up a really good point, because I feel journals can be so personal and affect so many people. And sometimes when we write about ourselves, and I see this with other authors when I'm publishing it, the framework is off, the timeline is off, it's all pingy kind of thing. So when someone finds that, they have to kind of create their own perspective of what the hell, like what's going on. Okay, yeah. That's a really good one. All right. What's your favorite hobby? What do you do for your hobby? Are you a painter? Candlestick maker?
No, I'm not a painter. No, I do like to write. I like to write.
You do.
That's a hobby. I like to write. I'm always writing. So, yeah. So writing is definitely one. I like to dance. So writing, dancing, I like to be out in nature. You said favorite. These are all things I like. Awesome. I just have one thing.
No, when you shouldn't.
As a multidimensional being, we have more than one.
Yeah, and we don't have to like play the flute for 80 years. It's okay if we played the xylophone. And Sierra may not know what that is either. All right, I'm gonna have one more for you. Do you have a spirit animal or a favorite number? How do you get some of your messages?
Yeah, well, I am a direct channel, so I get my my energy directly from source. And my spirit animal is the owl. The owl. So
we can turn our heads all the way around.
Right. It's the owl, the wisdom.
Wisdom.
And your goddess, Athena, that it's the owl was on Athena's city, right?
Yeah. And you know what's really interesting? And I recognize this. I didn't always. I've had 111 or 1111 for a gazillion years, and that means something, and 444 means something. But when the turtle shows up for me, it took me a while, because I can go all the way from a rambling cockatoo over here to, and that message is just slow down. You're going to get there. You have a hard shell. You know how to protect yourself. So when that turtle shows up, and it's classic, I'm just doing, that. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. All right, I want to come back to something you said just while we were in B-roll. Sierra has a lot of fun with my B-roll. You were talking about how getting together like this, and Sierra produces for both of us, and we're kind of like, blah, 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 and you guys, I want you to find some of those people in your life where when you leave them, you feel better, not worse. You know who that is. And then spend more time with that person. We always say that positivity, what's it take? It takes 10 positives to equal 1 negative.
Yeah, I think, this is such good advice. It's so important, positivity is contagious. It's contagious because it's inspiring. You know what it's like when you walk into a room and the room is filled with negativity, and it feels low and it's dense and all, it just doesn't feel good. It feels negative. But you also know what it's like when you're walking into a room and you see someone in that room that is just shining, that is just bright, that is just like, wow, it's inspirational.
It and it fills you back up. It's that energy, right? And I can always tell somebody that I'm just trying so hard to balance myself, that those parchment papers back in the day, they're real thin, and the queen would sit there and she would dip her little feather pen and she would just write. I always say a negative or narcissistic person, if I'm the white parchment paper, it just bleeds and guts itself when the narcissist or negative person is writing. And I mean, that's how it can feel to me. We're literally, injury, illness. I've had those types of relationships where it's all consuming, to kind of get re-energized with that, reflowing with that. You've got a 21-step peace guide. Is that a part of your book, or is that a separate?
It is. I actually, yeah, it's in the book, and I'm standing at my standing desk today.
Oh, stand. Jumping jacks are next, girlfriend.
So
it's such a beautiful cover and topic.
Yeah. Right. So, but there's the 21-day peace practice. And I thought I would just share,
share.
This one here is like, let's just say, because the peace practice is for 21 days. So this is week 2, day 8. So here it says, honoring yourself. This week, you're going to be releasing negative emotions, becoming more and more aware of what takes you out of your peace. Who and what are some of the triggers being played out by the people with whom you are in close relationships? The people at your workplace, your lover, your friends. Learn to appreciate your triggers, who and what triggers you, as they are the perfect opportunity for you to take responsibility and claim your truth. So far, we've had 7 days and 7 chakras to celebrate and appreciate. For the next 7 days, these are your growth opportunities. Who and what are your triggers? What do your relationships mirror to you? What energy did you release and let go of today? In what areas of your life do you want more peace? Would you be willing to let something fall away? And what is your body communicating to you? So these are the practices that are in the book that you do for 21 days. And what I hear a lot of times people tell me, they do the practice for 21 days. And because it's deep because you're being asked questions on a daily basis to really show up in your best version of yourself. So the first time around when you're doing it, it's like, you're not going to go that deep because it's intense, especially right now with the way it all is in the world. So people will do it for the first 21 days. They take a little break and then they do it again.
I
They
love
take
that.
a little break,
Yeah.
do it again, because really that's how you're going to really integrate. Because I'm asking you, there's also an emotional processing technique inside the book, because I'm asking you to really use your emotional energy, to your energy to create the best version of your life and to be the peace that you want to see in the world. I'm asking you to take responsibility. For people that want to work with me directly, there's ways that people can do that. But if you want to just work on your own and do this on your own, you certainly can. So, but it is a lifelong process, because
And sorry, did
I was going to say,
I always see the few, like I always see what people are going to do or out there, and it may not even mean 2 cents to anybody. But as you were talking, I saw a bundle to your book, and I saw this really cool journal that's a workbook journal that's part of your book, because when you were reading those things and you were talking about going deep, I'm like, yo, I could be journaling off of that first question the first day for like a week. But I saw this kind of really cool hard type journal with 4,000 pages in it, to blank pages with your 21 steps.
That's, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That needs to happen. That needs to get done.
And then, somebody can always buy, because that's the hot thing, right? Everybody's right now, honestly, the journals are the hot thing. They're the hot sale.
Yeah.
And if you get that out there, I mean,
actually, you know what you're doing right now? You are activating me to get it done. And I will get it done. I will.
I'm so happy, because
you just did that.
I vesseled right to you. One thing that you and I have kind of in common, and I'm going to say that I had it for a long time because I don't know your background on this. My professions came very much from a to-do list. My clients and my corporate wellness groups, and if you do this, look at this. And I had so much experience eventually after 35 years, I had a lot of data that if then happened. And so I've really had to work at coming back from that and making it open-ended questions and suggestions, which is what you're talking about right now. No right or wrong. You don't need an A. 8 out of 10 is delicious. If that's how you even eat, amen, right? That perfectionistic imposter syndrome is really, really prevalent right now.
Yeah. Yeah. This really inspired me. So yeah, this is definitely something that I know that has been on the list of things to do. I have a lot of those things that need to get done, as you know. But this would be an easier one. It's not going to take that long to get this done. So thank you for that.
Oh, honey, this is great. Can you please take me back to Kornelia at, I'm not going to say our age, but let's just say 2 decades ago. 2 decades ago.
Okay.
Who was that person back then? What was going on?
2 decades ago. So
yeah.
Let's see. I would say I was just beginning at that point in time to really awaken more of my ascension journey, if you will, awaken more into the opening of my heart and the opening of my true passion and purpose. I was beginning to awaken during that time, even though I had already been on the path, but much more raising my consciousness, much more becoming aware of it, much more interested in, there's got to be more to what I'm living here. There's got to be more than just this corporate job. There's got to be more to it, like the knocking of my soul, basically, because we're becoming, soul embodied here. And so it was like the soul began speaking to me during that time and saying, knock, 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 knock.
Who's there? Were you in the professional world? Who was paying your check back then? Or were you already on your own trying to solopreneur at that point?
20 years ago, no, I was in the professional world. And yeah, I was definitely there. That's where I was getting my paycheck from. I bought my own house. I was in the top 5. And, I was in the top 5 doing very, very well, very successful, and up for, advancement and promotions when, again, a situation happened where all of a sudden, I got jolted, like, wow.
Illness or injury? That's what always happens to me. What happened to you? Was there a zap?
No, what it was at work. Something happened at work where like I could see, oh, they could pull the rug out from underneath me any point in time, and boom, my job would be gone. It was something like that. Okay.
Right.
Boy, and that shocked me, because I was doing such a great job. Everything is so great, but oh boy, anything could happen. Boom. And then what? You got a house payment, you got all these things. So that was the beginning, where I was like, okay. And then I started really listening more to the soul, and started listening and diving in deeper. And then shortly thereafter, like, I want to say, from the time that thing happened to show me that, oh, this could be gone, this could change everything. That's when I want to speak. I want to coach. I want to travel the world. I want to be free. I want to be, I want more. I want what it is that I came here to do. And that was a stepping stone, because it certainly helped with a lot of things. I learned a lot of things, and I'm very good at the things that I did. Those were all skills that are still applied now, right. Always making other people's rich, well off. And so now it was my job to start focusing on that for myself through my own
word freedom. That's one of my things I can even think about when I'm on I always wanted that big butt beachcombing bike with the basket, right? That was my dream of freedom. And I was like, and I'm not going to be old when I do it. And when I finally got that, I could feel the freedom. So whether it's financial freedom from a toxic relationship, freedom from anxiety or some medication that you're on. I love that you said freedom, because we think here in the United States, we have all this freedom, and we're trapped. We're not doing crap with it. And we're letting everybody else.
Totally. That's also another thing. So people right now are definitely feeling entrapped. And even in my book, where I talk about, the empowerment that we as a human race need to take our freedom back, because in the matrix that has conditioned and controlled us for so long, and now so many people that have gone out on their own, that are exiting the matrix, that are standing up for their rights, for their First Amendment right, for being able to have the power, the freedom of speech, to be able to stand up for themselves and speak their truth. So many things are being taken away from them, or they're being censored, and they can't say the things that they want to say because of all the anti-Semitism and all the other things that are going on. It's again, how do we find peace in a world that is like that? And I'm going to bring it right back to you again right now. This is being created moment to moment to moment, every single day in your reality by you.
Right.
So that's the words that we're speaking. That's the energy that we hold. That's the practices that we have. That's the permission slip we give ourselves to do the things that we love. That's showing up and having and experiencing that peace right here, right now. Because I can tell you right now, you can ask me, am I at peace right now? Do I have everything that I need? Is everything fine in my universe, even though outside there's a war going on between good and evil? That is happening. But on my watch, in my house, at this time, moment to moment to moment to moment, it's peace on earth.
Mic drop. I tell you, hey. Let me take a deep breath on that one. That was so good. I know, look at you just pounding it out. You got blood pressure 140/90. You're so excited. You're in your little stand-up desk doing your little dances. I'm working on a project, and it just fabric with what you just said. So I'm working on an unsheltered Voices from the Street, gathering stories. It's a compilation book of what's the story out there. Like, tell me, John, under the Fifth Street Bridge, how can we help you? Because certainly people are driving by. We actually had one of them tell us, don't act like I don't know you see me. I know you see me when you walk by and you look like this, thinking my story is wanting $5, thinking that I'm a drunk, but I know you see me and you still walk by. The interesting thing with this project, being that it is a for good and we're turning everything back into the community, you know what shocked me is how much everybody will make a comment that we need to do something, but do not realize that the little things they could do, we're not going to change the narrative or perspective globally, but we can definitely make steps. But they're chatting about it and then they're coming back here, including nonprofits.
Wow. Wow.
Shocking to me. We had, when we first went out with this book, it hit global press release. It was in India. Everybody was like this. And then we start saying, who's gonna pro bono edit for us? Who's going to come along and do some marketing? Oh, really? So along with what you're saying that we can make a difference, I think sometimes we think it has to be so big to make a difference. And that baby step, what's a baby step thing? 2, 3, 4 things. Is it just working on our bubble and internally ourselves? Starting there?
It needs to start with you. It needs to start with every human body that is here on earth at this time, making peace their priority. You said it already. A lot of people say they want the homelessness resolved. They want the solutions, but they don't want to take actions. A lot of people say they want peace, but they don't want to take actions. They're looking at someone else to come in and fix it and do something about it.
And to sit back and judge what that person did when you didn't take the actions. That's
exactly
what kicks me off.
Yeah. So the point is that, you know, peace begins with you. Peace is an inside job. So what's the baby step you can take? You know, do the 21-day practice, do the daily, make peace your value, that you value peace and that that's what you stand for. And then be an advocate for it and show up for it first and foremost for yourself so that you don't feel depleted or anxious or angry peace activist, but that you're actually, again, lighting up by being able to support others and helping others, you know, bring more peace into their life, right?
And we have the right to go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, you know, it's very easy when we set our intentions with what it is that we want in this world. When we look at the world that we want to create, the world that we're leaving behind for your children, for your grandchildren, for you know, the next generation. So the point is, peace on earth needs to happen now. Why, Peggy? Because we are too far evolved as a human race to continue on doing the same thing that we've been doing with fighting wars when we can use our wisdom instead. Wisdom, not weapons. So we're far too evolved as a human race to continue on this distinction pattern that we've had many times. So peace on earth needs to happen here now. And that's what we're standing for. And it's only going to happen if every person is going to make that a priority in their life.
And we have the right to create our own boundaries when we know when we're bucking up against something or someone's come into your little white light and everything's going well. We have the right to say, don't want to go to coffee with you, don't want to watch this news program. I mean, we have a lot more power.
We have the right to say, don't talk to me like that. Don't talk to me like that. We have the right to say that. We have the right to stand up because, again, treat others how you want to be treated. Right. And I want to be treated. I treat myself with love and kindness and respect. So that's how I'm going to treat others. So that's the blueprint, babe. That's how we do it here. That's how we roll. That's how we do it. So I'm not going to disrespect you, and I don't want you to disrespect me. That's where I'm going to put my hand up, and that's where I'm going to call a boundary.
Oh my God, I'm in love. So the compilation, I know. the compilation books that have happened over the last couple of years gave me an inside scoop on really what's going on. First book, 40 people, second book, 40 people, third book, 40, and then blah, blah, blah. And we are all hurting, even if we're writing it and we've done well, we're hurting. But the commonality, and to realize we're all not that special in the sense that there's a connection or a blend, or we're crocheted together, for lack of a better term. And so we can solve it. So it's not just this generic peace on earth shirt that you and I bought in 1989. It truly is seeing that and making a difference. I'm going to do something a little off key here. Sierra, our producer, I'd like you to come on the air for a second. In writing the children's books that I have been working on with my 29-year-old son, we've been looking back at his adventures and doing a mom's take and a Tanner's take now that he's a dad of 2 boys. And I will tell you, when you are writing a children's book or young adult book, and you can still find the positivity and the excitement and the vibrant colors in them, it filled me to hell up to be able to deal with all the adult negativity. So, Sarah, I'm not going to say how old you are, but can you give some thought to what you've been hearing and how you, as a person at your age and your generation, how do you feel like you can make a step forward?
Well, I do love what you guys have been saying, because at my age, I have some people in my life that can be painfully negative, and it can not only bring me down, but like the people around this person as well. But then again, I try my hardest to fulfill my life with people who are just so positive, because I would like to think that I am a pretty positive person. And so I just love people who love.
Oh, amen, sister.
Chills.
Yeah, I think I said this on my last show, if we could really go back, some of the things that I would instill and require by graduation diploma is to learn the love languages, to learn how to communicate, to learn how to budget, and to volunteer. I don't care if it is with, at the pet society or soup kitchen or whatever. And I'm going to challenge you, Sierra. I'm going to challenge you this next week that you create a more positive environment around you, and you work really hard, and you pull in at least one peer that you feel you might be a step ahead of to also do so.
That's good.
Oh, she's got to do it. She's listening.
I know. I'm pondering my thoughts.
Oh, I know.
That's good. But I want to say, Sarah, you are already brilliant in your manifestation, because look at the people that you're producing, what you're around, where you're working, and the people that you have around you, so you're already surrounded by success. It's like you said, like Peggy said, you're peer, because that's the place where the work needs to happen, right?
Exactly.
Can it get any better than this unrehearsed? I tell you guys, our time is up, and if this should not be a daily show, that would be selfish of me to do that. But I tell you, I want to thank Kornelia. I'm going to come back to her with a call of action, but I want to just remind you that if you just email me, Peggy@allthingswellness.com, first 5 people, and I will not lie, I will send you 3 autographed my last 3 books. I will send those to you. So excited about that. And I also want to say I am with you every 2nd and 4th Wednesday of the month, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. And I also want to tell you to hop on to allthingswellness.com. There's a pretty little author tab way over to the right. You can see all the books that I've been working on. And if you are interested whatsoever in getting your story published, your true personal real story, I'm definitely the girl to call. So Kornelia, my love, can you give a call to action? We gave Sierra one. Can you give a call to action for our peeps?
Yeah. So say the mantra, let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. That's the call to action. And so write it down, say it 3 times a day, make it your juicy mantra that you love saying.
Write it on your mirror, get a sticky note, let's go.
Post it everywhere. I want to plug real quick. I was
going to say, where can we find you and what do you have going on?
Go to KorneliaStephanie.com if you want to learn more about the power of emotions. I got a lot of amazing content there, free content that you can read up on. also, for the people that want to work with me, I have a 1-year mentoring program right now. And it's really powerful because it really helps you to create your best life now. I have monthly payment options for people because I know that right now financially people are challenged. So feel free to connect with me there. You can email me at Korneliastephanie.com. And then check out our stories of hope as well on the TTN network. So every Friday.
Every Friday. There's something for you guys to do out there everywhere. I challenge you to watch a video, read an article, or do some research this week that levels up your knowledge in some area that you may not know about. So let's go. You gals go off and have a fantastic day, and we shall chat soon.
You've been listening to the Coach Peggy Show, all things wellness with Coach Peggy Willms. Tune in live on transformationtalkradio.com, where Coach Peggy talks all things wellness, not just nutrition and fitness, but about all things, about your money, your lifestyle, your beliefs, and even romance. The Coach Peggy Show, bold, badass, and never half in. For more information or to connect with Coach Peggy, visit allthingswellness.com.